I saw a stat today, Taylor. Tom Cruise is currently older than Gandalf was in or Ian McKellen was when he played Gandalf, and he's currently doing Mission Impossible 27 or whatever, jumping off buildings and flying through space.
Well, Ian McKellen's always looked a bit older, and they olded his ass up for Gandalf.
Sure,
like
that's fair.
They clearly were like, all right, this guy, who knows how many movies we're going to make.
They did that in The
after
Exorcist.
the trilogy's over.
In The Exorcist, Father Merrin in The Exorcist, the old priest who, spoilers, doesn't make it at the end. He was much, much younger than he appeared. He was in his 30s or something, and they made him into a 60, 70-year-old shaky man with heart issues, always popping those pills. That was great makeup for the 70s.
Forever.
I thought you were going to say you've never seen it.
No, I've seen The Exorcist. I liked the first one. The second one was kind of.
Well, now they CGI make him younger, right?
In everything.
Scorsese movie.
In everything, so the Scorsese movie did huge de-aging to get De Niro and Pacino, all those guys, like the 35-year-old version, the 45-year-old version, and so on and so forth.
Right.
But if you just watch any TV show now, like a big TV show, especially I'm watching Ted Lasso in the second season, they got the CGI on her forehead now. Cool. We don't have to look at them wrinkles.
This is the owner.
Yeah. If you look at any TV show, they're de-aging them just a little. And if you think about how good a Snapchat filter is, I don't know if you ever futzed around with your Snapchat filters and made yourself into a girl or made yourself into a lion. You turn the back rear facing camera on and look at yourself, and it does all sorts of stuff to you with just Snapchat.
I know how it works. Yeah.
Well, you clearly didn't.
I just haven't done it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, just so you know, the stuff there is convincing. It looks real. So the stuff that Apple TV has for their prime shows or any TV show, it's clear they're de-aging everyone now, making everybody look better. Just fixing stuff. I saw that picture of Kim Kardashian the other day. Is it better than what?
The Irishman, because that was distractingly bad.
Yeah.
Well, it's distractingly bad mostly because they're taking 50 years off these people that whose careers you've followed your whole life. So it's extra,
I like it when they take a similar actor and then morph him into someone else. Like they did Luke Skywalker. They found an actor who's really close to a young Mark Hamill. Closer to a young Mark Hamill than the current Mark Hamill is. And then they just transferred him and made him even closer. Worked.
Or Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder, where they kind of turned him into Les Grossman, and he had the
they did was give him big hands.
No, they balded him. He has a wonderful head of hair.
He's got a gut.
And he's got a gut. He's a little chubby, but they just gave him
Tom Cruise
and another one.
Yeah.
But that was a costume. It wasn't CGI.
Yeah, that's why it was better, because it was just a costume.
That was
sure.
That's why the orcs in Lord of the Rings will always kick the ass of the orcs in The Hobbit, because they were dressing some fucking Aussie up like an orc, painting his face, and then the new ones, you can just tell they're not in it because they're not real. It's just fucking CGI. The white orc. You're not even scary, bro. Didn't like that. I'll never rewatch those movies.
No,
so you mentioned you were watching the Yellowstone prequels.
Yeah.
I've only watched Yellowstone. I haven't watched the early ones. Do they de-age people for that?
No, so they go back. So what they're doing is they're filling in the entire lineage of the Dutton family from beginning to end. So the first one was 1863 or something. So it's rolling across the prairie and buggies and stuff and dealing with Indians. It mostly follows a young girl who's she's kind of the main character, but it covers Indians and all sorts of other characters. And then this current show that I'm watching, I think it just wrapped. Season 2 was their last season. It's called 1923, and it's the Harrison Ford, Helen Mirren led one. And it's in the year 1923, post World War I, and beef prices have crashed, and people trying to take the land as always. And in 2026, I think they're dropping I don't know what it's called, but it's going to be 1943 or 19. They're going to do that. They're going to fill in the whole thing. Taylor Sheridan has, I'm guessing, 7 shows out right now. That he writes and directs, or he doesn't direct them, but he creates them.
I think 1823 might be my favorite one. That's the one about the young girl who travels across the country fucking everybody.
Yeah, it's about that dumb whore who ruins her family's life because she can't keep her legs spread long enough to make it across the country. And
she keeps her legs spread well. That's her core competency.
Everybody. She fucks. It's why is my daughter such a? In what would actually happen is you would beat your daughter half to death for being an 1863 whore. We're trying to survive right now, and you're fucking people on the cat. That upset me. And then she's
gets making friends and allies, Kyle.
Yeah, how'd that go for her?
I mean, it could have gone better.
Yeah, she got shot with a doo-doo arrow. Fuck her. I hate that show.
Fuck her is exactly the sentiment of most of the cast in that show.
Of America at that point, right?
There's a much hotter chick. There's 2 hotter chicks, maybe 3 in the 1923 one that I'm watching. I'm digging it. I'm almost a couple episodes into season 2. It's good.
Taylor Sheridan is currently writing a Cannonball Run series. And they want me to be a technical advisor for it, but they have the guy who kind of manages the rights to the name Cannonball Run for a movie had sort of given him some stories, and we spent some time like workshopping different characters and stuff like that. And he described a character based on me, like the guy that comes in really young and tries to prove himself and sets the record and stuff like that. And Taylor Sheridan goes, "Oh, I like that, but I think I'm going to use Sydney Sweeney for that role."
I think that's a great idea.
I prefer
it writes itself.
And you know what? In the middle of the Cannonball Run, everything's going great, but then she's going through fucking New Mexico. The air conditioning dies.
That's it.
It's as hot as the surface of the sun in there, but she can't stop, and the windows also won't roll down. She's got to disrobe.
She's got to.
I was going to say, Taylor, hear me out.
Really bad, and it's just my face and nothing else.
It's
like,
Cannonball Run, but the same plot as 1823. Young lady travels across the country, banging everyone on the way. Huh? Cast as Sydney Sweeney.
No, not everyone. Just me.
Just one stop in St. Louis.
Just one stop in St. Louis, just for me. And I'm her love, and I tell her, "Stop this race. It's ridiculous. Stay here."
But she has no argument against that point.
No fucking argument. Yeah, so how likely do you think it is you're gonna be involved? That's awesome.
If it happens, I'll be involved. This happens every 6 months. They start talking to somebody else, and it seems like it's going to happen, and they tell you, "Ed, send us some Cannonball jackets and stuff like that," and then I never hear anything at all. And so, the success of Top Gun as a remake of an 80s movie kind of reignited the enthusiasm for remaking Cannonball Run. So, it'll happen one day, but I don't know.
I hope so.
You never know what form it's going to take.
And I hope they use her.
I'd rather see Smokey and the Bandit than Cannonball Run. If I'm being honest, though, I think that could transfer better to modern days. Obviously, like, instead of alcohol, have them be, I don't know, fucking Nick vapes or something, like whatever, like something modern. HRT drugs. East, count it down, roll it up, and truck it.
Electric semi sitting on charges for days on end.
I got 10,000 cases of estrogen. They need it in New Mexico, and you just ride it from Atlanta.
There's a bunch of femboys who are growing hair back on their nutsacks. I need to get there post haste.
He's got to get from
that's
Atlanta,
the good thing
Georgia,
about
to
Taylor
Austin,
Sheridan.
Texas, in 24 hours.
Taylor Sheridan took it and was like, "No, I'm going to make this like an all-American thing." Almost every other script I've read in the last 2 years that was a Cannonball concept has been AI and hybrid cars and electric cars versus gas and autonomous cars versus drivers. And it's just like, that's not the Rat Pack and Sammy Davis Jr., pretending to be a priest in a Ferrari. Like, let's go back to the roots a little bit.
Yeah, they should. It'd be another nostalgia flick. A lot of people would watch it, I'm sure.
Do you think the COVID records will ever be beaten?
No.
I mean, there are some people trying, but I think you can't fake, the world getting shut down to make it across. And so I can't see it with current technology. I mean, you'd have to have an 850 horsepower, night vision, everything else, and 100 spotter cars to have a prayer. And you just have to reset every time you hit a traffic jam. Like, you couldn't plan around it. You just try again. But,
well, then they should just throw a little.
Do they ride on the shoulder and just go around it?
You lose a tire by that distance, really? But but there is some shoulder passing that may or may not happen.
Yeah, I think Taylor might be onto something, like throwing an asterisk on the COVID record. During maybe a certain period of time.
It's not really fair.
Because it's clearly a different situation.
It is, and we had a guy beat the fastest non-COVID time last year. And so, like, that, we celebrated that. Like, this means something because it is a different circumstance. And so it was fun to make another video about it and things like that. But it's in a race where there aren't really any rules, it's hard to start adding them Like, well, it doesn't count if the world shut down or pandemic, but it's fun. I apologize.
He's not as bad as Stephen King, but sometimes, like even in the short story book I bought, like all the collections of H.P. Lovecraft's short stories, he sets up the coolest world ever, and then it ends just with like some parable or like a little thing where there's not really any concrete resolution to the conflict. It's just, and the world went on, and this person's death in and of itself, the main characters, was insignificant and didn't change anything. But he has cool worlds. So if you haven't read H.P. Lovecraft stuff, you should, audience. It's good.
I'd rather watch one of the Eldritch horror type movies like The Void, something like that.
Is that the shitty one though? The Void?
No, I like it a lot. I think it's great. A lot of
Oh no, I recognize the cover now. That was a good one. I liked that.
You ever see the one with Sam Neill, where he's tracking down the author? Like he's man,
You got 4.5 minutes.
4.5 minutes.
4.5 minutes.
Believe in you.
I think my cough medicine just wore off.
Just fell off a cliff. Poor guy.
So what about Sam Neill?
There's a Sam Neill movie that's sort of an Eldritch horror thing where he's the author's name is Sutter Kane. That'll get it for me. Took me a minute.
In the Mouth of Madness?
In the Mouth of Madness. That's a good one too. It's very wacky, very weird. I highly recommend that one. That's Sutter Kane is like the Stephen King stand-in for that universe, and Sam Neill is he's working for the publisher for Sutter Kane's new novel, and he's doing some investigation because I think maybe either the author disappeared or something like that, and so he's investigating it, and he goes down this wacky, scary, Eldritch horror-filled nightmare of a journey that leaves him insane, beyond insane. That one's pretty good.
Okay. Well, I like Sam Neill a lot.
Yeah. I mean, Jurassic Park, I like him from Jurassic Park.
I liked in Jurassic Park where he just fucking mogs that little kid for laughing in the very beginning. The little kid in the beginning is like, this is fucking gay. It's like a turkey. And he's like in front of a bunch of adults, and he like takes a fucking
raptor claw
out and is like, do you know what it would do to you? It would slice you open and your innards would fall out. And he's doing this like a 7-year-old kid.
That kid was a douchebag,
though, right? Like, I feel like that kid got a really good experience.
Yeah. He did. Or
he'll remember about the raptor forever. And
why didn't they arrest John Hammond at the end of that movie?
They probably should have, because he was
rich guy?
Yeah. It was his island. He did that to them all. Like if when we were on that helicopter getting out of there, and John Hammond takes a moment to turn around with his stupid cane and like look back at the island and like, oh, my dream didn't come true. And then he gets on the helicopter with us. I'd have kicked his old ass out. John didn't make it. John didn't fucking make it. Fuck him. He sent us to this hell island to be preyed upon by these super dangerous dinosaurs.
That's all true. I don't know. I'm giving him too much credit.
I'd be mad.
Internally for intent, right? Like he intended to do something really dope. Just they bred. Oopsie doodle.
And practice, it didn't go too well. Poor Sam Jackson got eat up.
Well, I don't know who that is. So
Samuel L. Jackson. English, motherfucker. Do you speak it?
Yeah. I don't remember him in the movie.
You know who else?
I remember Newman.
Newman got eat up.
Yeah, Sam Jackson's the main character in the movie. He does get killed. His arm is the one that's left hanging on the chain link fence at one point that the blonde finds. She's like, ah! Like freaks out because the arm's there.
I don't know about main character. I'd remember him if it was a main.
Fair enough. He's no Sam Neill. He's not one of those little.
I remember as a little kid watching it, and like when they lowered that cow into the enclosure, like, it made me sad for the cow. Because I thought of all the cows I knew on my grandpa's farm and was like, oh man,
Photoshop.
Holy shit. Samuel L. Jackson is in this movie? That I haven't seen it in so long. I didn't know who this was when I watched it as a kid.
Well, it's
been 25 years since I've watched this movie, probably.
I don't watch the sequels. I think the sequels are garbage. All that Chris Pratt stuff when he's riding a motorcycle flanked by velociraptors.
I watched one. I hated it. I didn't like how glib he was around the raptors. Respect them.